Welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. Open up to being inspired this morning. Zulaikha Patel is an inspiring young woman who's been an active voice against discrimination for years. And now the social justice activist has penned a children's book titled My Coily, Crowny Hair. Zulaikha connects with us via video call this morning to share all about what this day means to her. Zulaikha, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I've got to say, before we even start, I love the hair, I love the look, I love the energy, and I love what you have done here. It's so inspiring. And thank you for waking up so early in the morning. But listen, you've said you stand on a mountain built by the women who have come before you. How does that resonate with you, especially today being Women's Day?
How that resonates with me is, as I've said, I stand on a mountain built by the women who have walked before me and the women that fought before me. And for me now, in the 21st century, as a young African social justice and anti-racism activist, that then means that I have the responsibility, along with my generation, have the responsibility to ensure that the women that will walk after our generation stand on a mountain that is even higher than the one that we stand on, and see a vision much further than the one that we see, and a vision much clearer than the one that we see.
And your voice is powerful, Zulaikha. Your voice is so important to young people. What are you saying in this book that you've now penned?
This book is simply an affirmation. It's a simple affirmation to the African identity, because growing up, I started reading at the age of 4. And when I was growing up, there were no books that represented my reality positively. And there was no books where I could look and see representation, seeing African women being represented in the pages of literature. I was exposed to books that rather didn't reflect my reality. In books, I saw blonde and blue-eyed characters that went to Big Ben on a rainy day in London and drank apple juice, whereas I was not seeing books that represented my reality as a girl child living in South Africa. And so I made it my mission that the day that I write a book, I'm going to dedicate it to children, and I'm going to bring representation forth to the table, and also be at the forefront of taking ownership of telling the African narrative. Because I think that today, in the world that we live in, as African women, it's so critical that we are the voices of our own narrative, and we are the voices that shape and define our own narrative.
I love it.
I absolutely love that. And I must just say, especially the fact that a lot of the time, and especially in the show, we've been talking about this very issue, that there isn't much representation in our culture, books in young languages for kids as well. So instead of not having this reality, you then created your own. And you created a beautiful reality, and you did something like this book, which already is a bestseller at bookstores. I mean, going from where you've come from to where it is now and establishing something that is a bestseller on its own, that must feel incredible. What is that feeling absolutely like for you?
It does feel incredible. I guess it feels almost like a dream, I guess, because it still feels like a dream to hold the book in my hands, because there were so many delays with COVID and the several on and off restrictions that we had in publishing the book. And so it still feels like a dream to look at the book. And it still feels like a dream that the entire book has already been published, launched, printed, it's compiled, because I always still think about the days where I was still writing, my manuscript was still going in and out of editing. I was still picking colors, what colors I wanted on the cover page. I was still trying to get in contact with the person that would deliver my foreword. I still think about those days a lot, and I guess it feels like a dream.
And now a dream that's certainly being lived out on a daily basis. I love seeing that book on the shelves, and I hope that the parents watching the show right now are inspired to go out there and really capture this story and capture the essence of what you're trying to say to all of us. Zulaikha Patel, you are fantastic. Happy Women's Day. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, she's fantastic.
She's such a legend.
I've said it 3 times. Fantastic.
Say it more, say it more. Look, she's walking tall and with pride in a coily, crowny hair. And that's Zulaikha Patel, social justice activist, and now an author too.